Hi guys, this is a video about the difference between clutch control and coasting. So I've just had a driving lesson and I was advising my student to lift and dip to do his maneuvers. So lifting the clutch and then dipping it and then lifting it and dipping it. That's clutch control. This can be used coming out of T-junctions. This can be used coming out of roundabouts, complex junctions, doing maneuvers, coming out from angle starts, which is when you're behind a car and coming out, most likely coming out from behind a parallel park. You need to interact with your clutch, lift and dip to make the car go slower. So you're basically controlling speed with your clutch and not touching the brake necessarily. The brake is to stop the car when you want to, but to control the speed in first gear, you can come up to the bite and then dip it, and then up to the bite and then dip it. So I call it lift and dip for the obvious reasons that you're lifting and dipping. I also call it stepping out. So if you're coming out from behind a car, the reason why I call it stepping out is because you're stepping down on your clutch multiple times. So it reminds me of steps like that because you're dipping the clutch down. So you're giving the car a bit of energy and then dipping it and then giving it a bit of energy and then dipping it. So you're basically connecting the car to the engine and then breaking the connection and then connecting it to the engine and then braking it. This is not coasting. Coasting is when you've got the clutch fully down and you're going to go round a corner, or you're going to have the clutch down for excessive amounts of time, which is a disconnected engine to the tyres. They're not even touching, and we can't do that. The examiner's going to have a problem with that. But when you're feathering the clutch, as I like to call it, when you come up to the bite and then dip it down and then lift it and dip it, this is a control of speed. This is where you can do beautifully intricate pieces of driving, getting out of the smallest space that you've ever seen. If you've been boxed into a space like a parallel park or something like that, or you're trying to come out of a junction, or you're trying to squeeze between two cars, like as in they've parked on the road badly and trying to get through. It's very important. I've seen some really horrible videos on YouTube of cars trying to get out of small spaces and they don't know how to lift and dip their clutch. So when they go to the biting point, they go across the road and smash into the cars on the other side, and then they put it into reverse and they smash into cars on the other side, and they keep on smashing into cars. They're on YouTube. Go and have a look at them if you can stomach it. But those people in those videos don't know how to use the clutch. I can barely watch it. I've seen it once and that's enough for me. But that person needs to come up on their bite and then dip it down and then lift it and dip it down. It's really important. If you're coming up to a turn and you go clutch down fully and go round the corner with the clutch fully down, that's bad coasting. We do not want that. That's bad coasting. Clutch down all the way round with all that steering? No. That's bad coasting. If you're lifting and dipping and lifting and dipping and having intricate driving to do a difficult sharp turn, totally different. You need to stay on the biting point for 2 car lengths if you are moving off from the side of the road. But if you're trying to control speed, then you lift and dip. Yeah. So I've made loads of videos about this, obviously, because it's the clutch, right? It's the most difficult part of the car, in my opinion, if you're driving a manual car. Proper tricky, right? You need loads of information about it. You need to practice with it loads with your accompanying driver. You need to feel it. You need to use it. You need to stall. That's really important because you need to know how to get out of a stall. But the point of the clutch is to interact with the speed of the car. If you are driving off and there's no difficult driving to do, you're going to set the gas and find the bite and stay on the biting point for about 2 car lengths. I call the clutch a diva. If she doesn't get her 2 car lengths of space, she's going to stall you. She's going to embarrass you in front of your friends. She's going to stall you in the middle of town because you're not giving her her 2 car lengths. She has to have her 2 car lengths of space. The clutch is a one-trick pony. It's a one-trick pony. When you're pulling away and you're going to move off, you go to the bite and you hold it for 2 car lengths, always. Doesn't matter whether it's a traffic light, doesn't matter whether it's a roundabout, doesn't matter whether it's a complex junction, doesn't matter if you're pulling off from the side of the road. It's a one-trick pony. When you go to pull away, you've got to stay on the biting point for 2 car lengths. Otherwise, she's going to be like, no, I'm Bridezilla, I'm a diva, and I'm going to stall you because I haven't got what I want. She has to have 2 car lengths of space. But if you're interacting with slow moving traffic or difficult driving, then you need to lift and dip your clutch up and down, feathering. No brake necessarily in these situations because you still want to go forward, but you're going forward slowly. So lift and dip the clutch, step out from behind the car. Yeah, the clutch is a beast, but it does need to be treated in these ways so it doesn't stall you. But stalling, again, in the same breath, it does need to be done. So come up to the bike, dip it down. Come up to the bike, dip it down. So exercises that I will do with a student if they're having difficulties with the clutch is I will definitely take them to a hill, 100%. I'm going to take them to a hill because we're going to do hill starts. I'm going to make sure that they set the gas and find the tug of the biting point, that they can feel the car tugging and we've got the bite. Biting point 1 is where you find the tug and there's no noises that are creaking or making any shaking. If you come up too far, the car starts shaking, creaking, making horrible noises. I call that biting point 2. We don't want biting point 2. We want biting point 1 if the handbrake is on. So you set the gas, come up to the bite, you've got the tug and it doesn't really go anywhere. Yes, it's not making weird noises or anything. It just feels nice and it's there. And then you can look around, make sure it's okay, release the handbrake and hold that for 2 car lengths. Yeah. If you release the handbrake and the car is completely still, that's really good. Then you would lift up the clutch about ½ pound coin and then you would stay on that biting point for 2 car lengths because it's a one-trick pony. It's the same every time. Yeah. I really hope this information helps you. Okay. There's loads of videos about this, but because my student just did it, I thought I'd make a quick video about it. Lift and dip, lift and dip. I'll link the other videos to this, and if you need any further information, use those. Better go because the dog's noisy. Okay, take care. Have a nice day, guys. I'll speak to you on the next one.